Welcome back to another episode of the Working Joe's podcast with me, Zack, and my co-host Ralph Wolf. And don't forget to download the podcast on Android using Stitcher or Podcast Addict, or if you have an Apple phone, use iTunes. Guys, welcome back to the Working Joe's podcast. We have multiple hosts here again today. We have Ralph Wolf and Brent Ridley, and we're going to talk about a specific subject today, or that's the intention anyway. We're going to talk about a specific subject, and that subject is the iDRSA Digi-Cool gauges proposed by Doug Lockhart. They're not in existence technically yet, being sold, but we're going to discuss it and see if maybe that's what should happen. What's happening here, fellas?
What's up, Zach?
What's up?
Hopefully we can get this thing, get a fire started under some of these guys and get this thing made, man. That would be awesome.
Look, if it was available today, I would buy it. After watching that 15-minute video, that he has done everything that everybody asked for from the very beginning. When the iManifold, because I never was a Digi-Cool cult follower. But then when the iManifold came out, you know as well as hell, you came here from Savannah to see me, just to show me the tool.
Yep.
So if the Digi-Cool would have been out then, I would have been like, well, this is what I'm buying because it's got everything that we asked for. I mean, everything from the screen. You don't have to use the app on your phone. You can just use the screen if you want to. The batteries are rechargeable. And one of the most important features of that thing, even though it does all this other stuff, one important feature for me on that tool is if you forget your probes, it won't let you turn this thing off till you go get them.
Yep, has the alarm on it. Yes, sir.
Yes. Yeah, and I left my probes for my iManifold one time.
Oh yeah, well that's an expensive mistake there.
Yes. So just that feature alone is a seller for me.
Sure.
I tell you what, I had my iManifold air probes at some guy's house, and it was one of those summer days, and I'd done like 3 or 4 calls that day, and I left them there, and I called back, and the guy didn't answer. I was like, damn. Oh man, because my stomach started to turn. I said, oh, that's like $600 and stuff sticking in his return and supply girls. And the next day I called him, no answer. I ended up having to show up at this guy's door, and I was like, hey man, there's some tools sitting upstairs by chance. Do you mind if I go check? He's like, oh, okay. They were still sticking in there. It's like, come on, guy. It was like 3 or 4 days later. I was like, I was a wreck. I had told Jim Bergman, I was like, man, my probes are sticking in some guy's grill. That would never have happened because I saw that when I watched the video for the iDRSA, and I saw where he had turned it off and the screen's like all flashing and telling him that the probes I guess they're telling that the probes are still on. Wasn't that the signal?
Yep. If you collect them and you have to collect them, turn the probes off first, and then power down the manifold, and it won't give you the alarm. From what I understand.
Yeah, that's what it looked like on the video. That's pretty. Ralph, you would have bought one of these things if they were out 2 years ago.
I would have bought one.
Wow.
So if I would have bought it, then it would have been definitely a hit. Not because but I definitely because how I bitched about the iManifold.
I remember.
So yeah.
Everybody bitched about it.
Everybody bitched about it, but me and John and Zack, we were the prime.
The ringleaders.
Yeah, the ringleaders on it.
Uh-oh. At least I bought one though, Ralph. Come on.
I did too. Well, I bought the iConnect. I didn't.
I bought one first.
Well, hey man. All right.
I don't know why we're arguing about that actually.
And for those of you who have not seen the video, you can go to hvactalk.com and look under the tools and tests section, and you can see the video there. There's several Facebook groups that it's in. I think it's in, the HVAC Talk Facebook group, Cowboys of HVAC Facebook group, Working Joe's Roundtable, several of them. And there's about a 15-minute video there that shows all of this. And it's called the iDRSA. I guess that's kind of a nickname. It's iDRSA, which stands for Intelligent, like your iPhone, Intelligent Digital Refrigerant Service Analyzer, and that's what that stands for.
I'm just gonna call it iDream a Genie.
That's it. And, well, right now, that's all it is a dream and a hope.
Right.
Hopefully, we can go a little further than that with it.
Well, it's got all the features that anybody could want. The only feature that I didn't see in it was it couldn't order your lunch. You know what I mean? It did everything. And I'm sure, I'm really sure that somewhere in that app, for the guys that really like to sleep with their manifold, I'm sure in that app, buried deep down in that app, there is a pleasure button.
Oh my gosh. Oh, yeah.
You just have to find it.
Next,
But the guys that sleep with their manifold, it wouldn't take them very long to find it.
I don't know. The guys that sleep with their manifolds are already sleeping with all the iConnect probes and that stuff. It's going to be a crowded bed there full of HVAC technology.
When that one comes out, if it ever does come out, I'm afraid there'll be a lot of divorces.
Oh gosh.
Especially now with the app deal.
Sure, man. You saw the app, it showed, it does everything pretty much that the iConnect and the iManifold does, and it shows the pH diagram. It calculates ERCOP, and it also calculates SEER, which is amazing to me. I don't know how he's figuring that out, but that's cool as hell that he's calculating SEER on there.
Right, and that's what all the the HERS rating, the California, was it Title 24?
Yeah.
All the states are getting ready to adopt all these different codes. So that is going to be the iManifold, and if that ever comes out, it'll be between those two because there's nobody else that can touch it.
Nope.
I'm a fan of the Smart Tool, and if they ever do anything like this, of course, I may change my mind, but stick with them. But for the time being, if that tool came out, it'd be a no-brainer for me.
Yeah.
Sure, and I think they're looking at a price point that's a lot cheaper than the iManifold or iConnect or somewhere in that ballpark. Another cool ass feature of it was that in the video it has it on a 4-valve proprietary manifold that Digi-Cool made. I think it's called the Paradigm manifold, and it's pretty sweet. It's got ball valves on it and everything. I like it. I'd use the hell out of that manifold. But you could take that head off and put it on other manifolds.
Really?
Yes. So if you want it on your Yellow Jacket 4-valve or 2-valve, just standard Yellow Jacket, you can do that. You got to get some adapters. I'm sure it's the same as like the AK900s were from Digi-Cool. You got to get some adapters, but you can fit it on any manifold you want.
Right.
Yeah, I noticed
that. That's pretty cool.
They used to sell those things, and I was at True Tech Tools, and I saw they used to sell the heads separately. And then I started seeing guys that had their old different manifolds or whatever. They had little elbow connectors, and it would offset up. And I said, well, them guys really love those things. That they're taking their favorite manifold and pairing them up with the Digi-Cool. I don't know. I guess that's the AK900. Is that what you said?
Yeah, the AK900 was the last offering from Digi-Cool, which they currently don't make anymore, which is very disappointing because that was the toughest digital gauge set I owned. They were hard as a rock.
I could run it over with my truck.
You could. The casing, I believe the casing on it, you could run it over with your truck because there's videos out there, guys. There's a guy on HVAC Talk, I think his name's It's Iceman, and he has it.
Oh, yeah.
He has a video of it, putting it in a utility sink, plugging the sink, filling the sink up with water, submerging the Digi-Cools, and then it's still working from there. Man, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That is awesome. I can't believe he did that. Put the testo probes in a sink. What do you think would happen?
Probably catch on fire.
Yeah, somehow it would burst into flames.
Exactly.
Oh, and Ralph, I know you were talking about Sporlan a second ago, not to get off target here, but I did ask Sporlan if they were coming out with any sort of air sensors in the near future.
Right.
And their answer essentially was no.
Oh, really?
So, really? I mean, it's not happening. And to me, it looks like it's sort of geared toward refrigeration only.
Right.
But HVAC guys can use it too.
Well, yeah.
So, I mean, I think they're heading in that direction.
That is their biggest, refrigeration.
Yeah. Maybe that's what they're concentrating on. They say, hey, these other guys can fight it out in the HVAC market.
Right.
But why stick yourself in the corner like that?
Why isolate half the market?
Well,
Exactly.
I'll tell you what they
The
told me
market
when
ain't
I
that
asked
big to
them.
begin with.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, if you're going to have like an elite gauge set, I mean, it's a smaller percentage. When I asked them about the air sensors, they said no, and then they suggested that I could take the pipe clamps and stick them in the ductwork if I wanted to, which was unappealing to say
Well,
the least.
No, because they probably got an offset on them because of ambient air and stuff like that. So I do not like that idea whatsoever.
Yeah, it's no good.
well,
They don't
well,
have
Zach,
humidity anyway, so it's useless without humidity to me.
You're
well,
right.
Zach,
It is.
you do realize that Jim, the product manager for Sporlan for the Smart Tool, is going to be on this podcast, right?
I've heard rumors.
Well, yeah. No. I pulled that card. If we can ever do anything for you, let us know.
Ralph says you can do something for me by coming on the podcast.
Yep.
Right.
So I pulled that card, and so Jim is going to be one of our guests.
Ralph
That'd be
is the
cool,
man.
man. That'd be great.
Yeah.
He brings in all the big names, man. I just sit back in my chair now. It's nice. I take a couple weeks off from trying to drag people into a podcast. Ralph's like, hey, I got
No.
like 60 guys that want to come in. How'd
Hey,
you do
look,
that?
I've got the vice president from Subco supposed to be coming in.
All right, you need to talk to him and tell him. Say we want the Digi-Cools. This
Well,
is
we
what
will.
we as technicians want. Make this shit happen.
We will. That all
Or
depends.
excuse me, make this stuff happen. We got to keep it PG here.
Yeah.
It's close. You know, a few can slip out. It's all right.
Yeah.
He's passionate about Digi-Cools. It's an exception.
It really is. Man. Yeah. Yeah. The Digicools is I would buy one if it came out on the market tomorrow. So there you go.
I have a question. The price, does it include the probes they're talking about, or is that separate? Or
See, it's not made, so
Right.
we can only assume and guesstimate on the price, and there's a I don't know. I assume I asked, and it was told to me like it was presented as a package with the probes.
okay. I'd like to see that. I don't think are the like his air probes. Are they in the video? I don't remember seeing them.
No, I didn't see them in the video at all, so I don't know what they look
I
like.
thought they were.
The
I thought
clamps
the
were.
pros were.
The clamps
the
were there.
clamps were. Yeah. Well, I like them because they're rechargeable. You don't have to spend a fortune in batteries.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about, oh man, I'm out of batteries, and because it does happen. I know guys
Absolutely.
are like, well, you should just carry a stock around. Well, what happens if you use them and you just forgot to go get some?
And it runs 12 volts DC, so you plug it off your cigarette lighter in your truck.
I know.
Put it
I
in the
know.
front seat with you, ride it to the next call, and you're ready to go again.
Yeah.
That's what's cool. And apparently it was gonna. I don't know if it is or if it was in. I don't know if the let's just say I don't know if the prototype was made this way, but apparently it was supposed to be just a magnetic charger, like it made surface
Right,
contact,
a breakaway charger, just like
Yep.
your iPhone.
just like
Or the MacBook.
just like the MacBook. So if it got caught on anything, it would pull it away. It'd
Right.
pop off, so it wouldn't get caught, wouldn't tear wires up and all that stuff.
Matter of fact, I'm looking at my breakaway charger right now.
See, that's a cool feat. Well, like I say, I saw like HVAC Talk. Everybody on HVAC Talk loved the Digi-Cool product, and they had the AK900s, which was the last ones, and then they had like the 1250s and 1200s before that, and they had one before that. The original one was like the 1600, I think. So he's had several different models, and I was never a fan of it. I kept seeing them on there. Guys kept talking about how great they were. It wasn't until I told myself, well, I'm gonna review all the digital manifolds out there, all the big popular ones. So I went through them all. I went through, Testo, Bill Peace. What else?
Don't forget Hilmar.
Hillmore. Don't forget Hillmore.
The Hillmore, exactly. The piece of crap Hillmore thing.
Click.
I'm sorry, I know Hillmore was a sponsor of the Cowboys or maybe this one, but that digital gauge set they had was terrible.
No, they won't show up.
They're not a sponsor of either one, so you can let it fly.
Okay, got you. Well, it was terrible. But and then I got and to be honest with you, a lot of these guys sent me this stuff for free to review because they want to, and I told them I'd give an honest review, and I did. But Doug was the only one who wouldn't send it to me for free. He says, I don't want your opinion to be biased. I said, okay. He says, I'll tell you what, I'll send it to you when you get it. Review it and then send me what you think it's worth. So he sent it to me. I reviewed it for a couple of weeks, and then I sent him full price because it was worth that 100%. And I'm still getting use out of it today. It's still hanging in my truck. I use my iConnect most, and then I have an iManifold that's hanging up in there. But I also got the Digi-Cools. That's the only stuff that's the only gauges I have in the truck.
So let me ask you a question, Brent. Since they're out of production, what happens with warranty if it breaks? Are you out?
No. From what I understand, they still have some parts available to repair and stuff like that.
Right.
Like I have 2 sets of clamps. One of my clamp sets is a little bit wonkied up, so I talked to Doug, and they said they have others, so I can buy another set if I want to. And that wasn't from a product issue. That was from my fault because I caught the wire on something and pulled it out.
Right.
So it's they're still standing behind the product as much as they can. They're just not selling new ones.
So he's pretty much semi-retired then.
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't know. That's why he tried for years to get this thing off the market, onto the market. I think Doug was working with UEI at one point. Then they backed out, and then they kind of stole the catalog number. They created a new digital gauge set called the AK940s, which is not a product of Digi-Cool, which is a joke. And I think hopefully they learned their lesson because I can't see them selling any of those. Second company they worked with was Hillmore, and I don't know. They talked to Hillmore, and then things kind of fell through. So Hillmore had a chance to do it, and they would have sold a boatload of them. So I don't know what the deal is. I don't know if these companies just don't like money or what.
It's a scary situation, I think, because that's a lot of money to invest. Well, just my opinion, it's a lot of money to invest in something that you don't know. And that's the great thing about this right here, what we're doing, that we can make people aware. We're talking about it, and people are listening to us. But just for nobody to actually be talking about it, like HVAC talk used to be the go-to place for people to go, but it was a small minority of, it was a minority of the whole trade. Now, even though, so if you get those guys over there talking, and you get us talking, and then other Facebook groups will be talking. There's members, the HVAC Pro Talk. I think you're a member of that. They've got like 35,000 members.
Yep.
Who's the other one? The Hacks. They have a ton of members. So if you get all those groups talking, I think the manufacturers were, that's a big chunk for them to go into production.
Well, I guess we're already doing. I guess it would be like their demographic. We are their demographic. We're already doing a demographic study for them, figuring out who would buy it, who's wouldn't. And I'm telling you, it's looking really good. To whoever decides to pick it up, they're gonna make some money.
Yeah, a focus group is pretty much what we are. And the manufacturers have those groups all the time.
Absolutely. And the thing is, I know Doug has some other avenues to expand on the iDRSA. So it's not just that. It can go a lot further than that and make a lot more money.
Right. And he's the same as Jim was with the iManifold.
Oh, very much so.
When it comes to that tool, it's his baby. He he's, and that's why the iManifold went so well, is because it was his.
Yep, Jim took ownership of it.
Yes, he took it. Yeah.
And Doug does the same thing. Doug, he may have been teamed up with UEI, and they were selling the AK900s with a UEI badge on them, but they were still Doug's, and he still took ownership of it. And he, no matter what badge was on it, he still took it as, this is my baby, and I'm going to take care of it, kind of thing.
So he comes with the tool.
Get some feedback going and get a fire started on the social media about it.
Well, it truly is a tool that I would back for sure.
Well, it's I put a poll up on one of the Facebook groups the other day about what would you pay for
I paid $2,100. I answered
for an iManifold-ish or iConnect-ish unit, And the most common answer, I believe, was $700 to $1,200.
Right.
So this will definitely fall within that market, within that frame, pretty much on the lower side of that frame. So I believe it'll get a lot of guys on board with it.
Right. And you know what it would also do is it would also help improve the other choices that guys have as well. Other manufacturers would be like, well, now we got the iManifold, we had to compete with them. Now we have the Digi-Cools, and now we have to compete with them. So we're going to have to step up our game if we want to continue to be in this market.
Sure, man. Our tools are Stone Age, really, to be honest with you. Besides, the iConnect and the iManifold, they're Stone Age, and it's a shame because you see these guys with these working on your car. They'll roll over their $60,000 toolbox over here or whatever, and
Yeah, yeah.
plug up the computer to it, and they'll figure it all out within 10 minutes because they have the technology that advances with it.
Right, right, right.
And we need the technology. The technology is advancing all around us, but the HVAC tool market's staying the same. It's about time the HVAC tool market it jumps aboard also.
Right. In the last couple of years, it really has improved, and I
Sure, with
think
the iConnect and the iManifold, but that's
right.
it. That's the only one.
But I think that as time goes on, with like Jason O was talking about his kids in his class, you know, th they're used to technology, and so as time goes on, the technology as the new engineers come into the trade, um, and start working for the manufacturers, the tools will get better.
Yeah.
Sure.
The question is,
But
are
we
we going
need
to get
guys like
tools like the Testo probes? Are we going to get tools like the
yeah, exactly.
iManifold?
Right, right,
Which
right.
way is it going to go?
Exactly. Yeah. But we still need guys like Doug, and that's the problem with the industry that's going to start happening. We have these new guys, the new engineers coming in, and the corporations want to spend as least amount of money they possibly can, and just flood the market with cheap tools that look cool,
Yep.
you know. But we need guys like Doug and Jim to stay in the market, so we have tools that perform really well.
Guys that have been out in the field and know what it's like, then that's what some of these tool manufacturers are lacking. I'm not don't want to pinpoint at somebody out or talk bad about them, but a lot of them are lacking a fellow who has field experience giving input on the tool. You got a bunch of engineers sitting around saying, "Oh, let's add this, let's add that." What do they know about sitting next to a unit at 9 o'clock at night trying to troubleshoot this with the homeowner on your back or the business owner breathing on your neck? They don't know anything
Right.
about that.
No, no, and it goes back to what Jim was saying the other day. The tool manufacturers have become um, the tools have become designed by the marketing engineers, and then
Yeah,
they hand that to the design engineers who had no experience in the field, and then we get a product like the Testo Smart Probes. And I know there's a lot of guys out there that buy those and that like them, but to me, it's just I don't know, it's just a cheap tool.
Right.
well, it is a cheap tool, and I'm not like you say, I'm not trying to talk bad about anybody, but if you put a wireless, the tool is supposed to be wireless. It has no screen on it.
Right.
It has to have a range on it. If it doesn't have range on it, then it's a
Then what's the
it's a
point?
novelty.
You're
Exactly.
standing right there at the unit with it.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's a novelty.
That's why I was glad to see Sporland, change their range,
Sure.
the crawl space or basement, and adjust the TXV. As much as I liked the Smart Tool when it first came out, I did try to go adjust the TXV, and I was in a crawl, and the unit was just not that. It was like 20 feet away, and I would have my readings for a second, and they just went away. And they were aware of it, and I told them, but they came out with a new tool. Something we have to pay a decent price for that kind of technology, though.
Sure. Bluetooth is a short range radio, and
Right.
it that's all it is for. It's getting better, and the technology's getting better, but it's still a Bluetooth radio, and it's short range. The iDRSA, the Digi-Cool has a proprietary radio in it that it says 2 blocks is the range on it, but I don't know exactly the feet on it or anything like that. But from what's been told, it should blow through a cabinet, blow through a cement wall, and do any of that stuff that you need as a technician to have that wireless range.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a great if it comes out, it's going to be a great tool.
And
That's a
you're
good
right,
question.
Ralph. We got to pay for that kind of stuff. It costs money. It's not. We can't be cheap with it. And guys, HC technicians and refrigeration technicians are some of the cheapest guys I've ever met.
It is true. It's definitely true.
Don't want to part with that money. And I understand, man. It's hard to make this money. We work our asses off to make this money, but the tools work for me and they make my job easier. So therefore, I want to get the best tool I can to make my job the easiest and to do the best job possible.
But like I said, eventually we're not going to have a choice but to invest in these tools because the government is going to mandate that we give, that every install or change out is up to par.
And you know what? That's a good idea. I'm not for more government, but we need to have some kind of regulations to make sure when these guys put in this 2-ton unit, it's producing 2 tons.
Right.
That kind of stuff.
No, I totally agree. I mean, I totally agree with that. And but like I said, before time goes on, the government's going to make it to where we have no choice, and the guys are going to have to spend the money on tools that will do the job.
So what happens when that happens? The government gets involved. There becomes 2 layers of technicians: the ones that do that, and the ones that become side work style guys that fly below the radar.
Well, yeah,
You're
I
right.
think
It may be.
it's going to be just like the EPA deal when January 1st.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, I guess. Well, probably what will happen is when a new system is sold, you're not going to be able to register the warranty until that paperwork that proves that your system has it's 14 SEER or it's 16 SEER or it's 18 SEER and it's performing at its peak efficiency. You can't register the warranty probably until you prove that until you have that paperwork.
Yep. That's what they may do.
Yep.
I don't know, but
Good
we're
old
all
regulations.
we're all looking in the future here, but I think the way it's going now, like I said,
if they made that law today, the only tool really capable of doing that, and it would be the iConnect or the
but wait a
iManifold.
second, not now, not until they get their stuff
Potentially.
straightened out. Potentially.
Well, there's the $1 million question. Where does it go from here? How do we help this happen? What is Doug doing to help this happen? Is he gonna come out here with us? Maybe have a podcast one day. Something like
Well, I'm gonna push him to it. I'm gonna see if he'd come on here with you guys. I'll talk to him about it. You can reach out to him, send him an email to Zack, see what happens.
that. Oh yeah, I already have.
Okay, cool, fantastic, man, fantastic. And then I just say let's have a bake sale. Can you make some good brownies, Ralph?
Hey man, I can actually, yeah, I can, yeah, send them to all the manufacturers with a special ingredient.
You look like a top-notch chef. Oh gosh, yeah.
And then call them after they've received the package.
There you go.
Yeah. Well, that's the next step right here. I mean, what happens now? I mean, we say it's going to be great if it happens, but how can we ensure that it gets the proper chance to happen?
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's going to take one of these manufacturers stepping up and backing the thing properly like it needs to.
Now, we did ask the Infocon guy yesterday when we were talking to him. That interview will probably air not this coming Friday and Tuesday, but probably the Friday and Tuesday after that. So we did ask him, but he couldn't really speak on the fact.
Well, there's several companies out here that aren't in the digital market, and they could be. There's Infocon, Subco, Bacharach, a lot of these, and then there's companies like Emerson that I heard were interested in getting into it. And because I recently saw Uniweld came out with digital gauge, and I would never thought they would be in that market. So in Sportland, I wouldn't think they would ever come out with a tool. So I think there may be even some that we're not even thinking of that may be able to come aboard and back it up. Because
I just hope that if somebody does, acquire this product, that it doesn't get cheapened in manufacturing.
well, that exactly, and that's what I'm trying to convey with this also is we want Doug, we want the Digi-Cool brand, and we want the Digi-Cool standards. We don't want some knockoff.
Right, right, right,
UEI
right.
UEI did that with the AK900s. They made the AK940s, and they could probably look at their sales sheet and tell you the difference between the two because I guarantee you they've sold 10 to 1 AK900s to those piece of crap AK940s.
Oh yeah, I mean it's just and a lot of it's marketing. The guys talking about this
Absolutely.
stuff, you know. Um, uh, I never knew anything about the smart tool, and I tell you how I saw it is Heavy Diesel actually posted a video on at that time it was Google Plus I believe, and I saw it and I was like, man, I want that damn thing. And the same thing with this, the Digi-Cool. so so hopefully we can make it happen. But
There you have it. Let's push it. See what happens.
Let's do it, guys.
so what do you think?
We
What
can
do you
do
think
it.
about it there, Zach?
I think that it's a really cool looking tool. I mean, I kind of like my stub gauges. It's going to take a lot to get me off those, but you know what? I'm willing to take a shot just like I tried the iConnect. I mean, I know how good the tool is, but I like to see stuff like that come to market because, it is above and beyond what's already there. And it does give you the screen. It has the practical aspects that some of the other stuff is missing. I mean, guys love wireless stuff, but I mean, in the end, you're going to sit there looking at a screen half the time, probably. That's what you want. I mean, where are you sitting there watching your phone? Standing next to the unit anyway. So you might as well have a screen on it.
Yeah,
And
because you got to be next to the unit to put refrigerant in the system.
yeah,
If it's low, you know what I mean?
right,
And
right.
that's where all your work is done is at the outdoor unit. I mean, yeah, you can go inside and adjust the fan speed and that kind of crazy stuff, but you ultimately are at the outdoor unit.
That's right. That's right.
Hmm.
It's just practical to me. It look really cool. I don't know what the air sensors look like, but I want to find out what they look like. So I mean, that's a good thing. I mean, interested in the tool. Doug needs to come visit us. That's essentially what we're saying here. I'm going to continue to batter him with emails until he just hates us so much he'll just come in here to make us go away. So I mean, that's my general way I work these, and
Well,
it works.
after this one gets edited, you can send it to them.
Send
I
it to them.
will.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's on Facebook. I tag him on Facebook. I shoot it to him on Messenger. I shoot it to him on their email until they just call the authorities.
I know.
Until they tap out.
Yeah, until they tap out. Just build the manifold and I'll go away. Yeah,
Yeah,
find
it's just like
somebody.
the HVAC salesman.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Keep talking until they tell you that. Okay, fine. 18C or go, please go home.
Just do it.
Yeah,
You
I'll
got to put
take
on you
one.
got to put on your white collared shirt, your khaki pants, and your
That's right.
trifold brochure about why he needs to come on the podcast.
That's exactly right.
Zach Zach had to leave, so me and Brent are going to finish this up. But I really like it. Like I said, I have no problem promoting the tool, and I'll just do whatever I have to try to get it into the market. But I don't know what's the little guy from Canton, Georgia, going to do.
Exactly. That was my whole deal. Is I've been hearing about the iDRSA for years, and I said, what can we do to make it get off the ground? Because I've recently started talking to Doug again, and then he told me the troubles that were going on with the market and everything, and I said, what can we do? And the only thing that I knew to do was to put it out there on social media and let the technicians speak for themselves and tell the manufacturers this is what we want. And that's the only thing I know we can do.
Right. I mean, I don't have a problem putting that video on my YouTube channel, um, and letting people see it from that way, because there's a lot of people that don't have Facebook and they don't want to be on Facebook. Um, because they just don't want
Sure.
what's involved in Facebook. So, but they watch my stuff, and I know they watch Zach's. So with between us, I think I get 240,000 views a month on YouTube.
That's a lot of people watching.
That's a lot of views. I mean, so I mean, I can help use that. And if other guys would do the same thing, that get a lot of views. So it would help. That would help. And then, you know, you could take that to the manufacturer and say, look, these guys are fighting for this stuff. They
Sure.
you know, this is what they want. And it's there. It's clearly there. You can see it. They perform their own focus group without even me asking them to do it.
Yep. That's exactly right. So, you know, it's I don't know. It'll be an interesting road to see where it ends up. You know, I'll be happy if it happens, and I'll be proud that I was just a small smidget of it making it happen, because
Well, yeah, I mean,
I'll be happy because I'm just using the tool every day, you know.
right. Well, like I said, it does have everything that we all asked from the very beginning. I know we're beating a dead horse here, but because we're talking about a tool that's not even out, but man, it would be a great tool to have in your toolbox.
Sure.
For sure.
And like I say, he's got some other things to help bring in revenue past the iDRSA. There's talks of it being as like a kind of used as like a black box, so it can data record up to 7 days all the measurements on it.
Right.
But you can also leave it on site and possibly be able to, through Wi-Fi, be able to link up to it and look at it while it's on site.
Kind of like the iConnect's what, Team Talk, or is that what it's called?
Connect.
Tech Connect.
Yeah, but
Talk,
it's kind of, but yeah, you don't have to be there with it, so you can leave
you can leave your little black box there.
Yeah, exactly. You can leave it there, and you got it recording all your information up to 7 days.
Wow.
So any kind of, you know, that thing that rooftop unit may be throwing a code every 3 days. Put that thing on there, let it record for a few days, and see what happens to those pressures when it hits that time, night, or whatever.
Actually, we had one. Not too long ago. 7.5 tons split system, and it would just, the comfort alert would just all of a sudden just die out and say, I think it was high pressure, but we had a voltage monitor put on the thing, and nobody could ever figure it out because the power company was like, oh, it showed fine.
Yeah.
We never could figure out what was going on with it. We had replaced the board. It had a bad spot in the board. We replaced the board. Another company put it in. Then I was asked if I would go out and look at it to see if I could figure it out. And I go out there, and well, it's way overcharged. So I set the charge on it, and then I checked the board and found the board messed up. So I was like, well, this should do it.
Sure.
Well, it popped a code again on the comfort alert. So that's when we had the voltage monitor put on it. So having that little black box on it would have been, hey, let's see what's going on with it then. So that's the perfect scenario right there. I have had that happen.
Yeah, you can see when it cuts out. You know, see what the pressures are, what the temperatures were, and everything when it cut out. You know, see if it really was tripping on high pressure, if it was just a faulty comfort alert, or what was happening to it. You know.
Well, we'll never know now.
What'd you end up doing? Just changing up the board, and it fixed it?
No, we took the comfort alert completely out of the circuit.
Sure.
You know, it just, so ain't had a problem since.
Well, I imagine that fixed it.
We cut the common wire on the comfort alert and spliced the common back together, and there you go. No more comfort
That fixed
alert.
It.
Mm-hmm. Never hear from that unit again until the compressor dies.
Yep.
All I say is, you guys out there that are listening to this, if you've watched that video, and you want to see that thing come to life, you know, leave a comment on our YouTube channel.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a good idea.
And that way we can see, and the manufacturers can see, what you guys want, and say, yeah, this is something we want.
Sure, and even if some of you guys may know some of these manufacturers, you may know somebody at the supply house, you may know something. And if
These manufacturers are watching too.
Sure, and if like I say, if any of these guys share the video around, show people at the supply house, show anybody you can that'll show interest in it, that may help us further it along.
Wouldn't it be great if the air conditioning manufacturer picked it up?
That'd be fantastic.
They have all the, they have a big backing.
They got all the funds to take care of it. Absolutely.
Yeah. Or somebody, even, believe it or not, I know they're not into manufacturing, but like BPI.
Yeah.
Because that's what they do. They do building performance. And in building performance, air conditioning, the house, of course, the building is the number one thing, and the air conditioning is number two.
Sure. Like I say, it's probably, it could be manufacturer we didn't even thought of, that we didn't even think would be in the game, but they may want to be there.
Right. Like I said, we're gonna, I believe, one of my reps was talking about, the Subco rep, and Subco is a Shark Tank. So if all these little products you see on the shelf from Subco,
yep,
they didn't come from Subco. They came from a heat and air contractor.
Yeah, I know, like the HVAC strap and some other stuff like were made.
Yeah.
And I know they're licensing the blue vac now, I think, too.
Oh, really?
The small one, the blue vac Nano or whatever, the small one. Yeah, they were licensing that. So
yeah, so that's what Subco is. If you ever wanted to know, they're not just a manufacturer that's, they're a Shark Tank for the air conditioning trade.
Well, that's the best place to get any good ideas. Ask the guys who are out here doing it, and we got all the ideas of what we could improve upon. They may be far-fetched and crazy, but we got a bunch of them.
Right. No, I totally agree. So like I said, if you guys are listening and you like what you saw in that video, leave a comment and let the manufacturers know that, hey, this is what we want.
I got like I say, I got the little spreadsheet. I may do some altering to this spreadsheet. There's a spreadsheet that compares the future iDRSA versus a lot of the others. The iConnect, the iManifold, the Appions. It compares a lot. Guys, if you're still interested in if you're interested in the iDRSA, go on one of these social media sites, go on HVAC Talk, Facebook, some of the groups, go on the YouTube channel, the Working Joe's YouTube channel, make a comment, share it with your friends, try to do whatever you can to get it out there, man. So that's what we're trying to do with this thing, and hopefully we can get it started, and you guys can all be a part of making it happen.
Yeah, it won't be just one or two guys trying to make it happen. It could be every one of you. And that's how we get things done.
Yep. Well, we appreciate it. And I am the Cocoa host, the Cocoa Fruity Pebbles host. And I think we're out of here.
I think so. All right, Brent. Have a good one.
All right. Talk to you guys later. Bye.
All right. Bye.
I'd like to thank Brent Ridley again for joining us on the Working Joe's podcast. And I remind everybody to stay tuned on Friday morning, June the 16th, for a special podcast with EWC man Trey Miller.